Hey, welcome. Today, we're jumping into a topic that is absolutely critical if you're building on AWS, and especially if you've got that Solutions Architect exam in your sights. We're talking about mastering cost optimization. So, does this sound familiar? You move to the cloud for all that promised efficiency and savings, and then, bam, you're staring at a bill that's all over the place. Look, this is a super common problem, and knowing how to tackle it is, frankly, a must-know for your AWS exam. All right, let's get into it. Before we can fix the problem, we've really got to understand it. And at its core, this is all about a massive shift in how we think about paying for IT. Think about it. In the old on-premises world, you had these big upfront costs. You'd buy a ton of servers, and that was that. Predictable, sure, but you were almost always paying for power you weren't using. The cloud? Well, it flips that completely on its head. It's pay-as-you-go, which is awesome for flexibility, but it comes with a catch. If you're not actively managing it, you can waste a ton of money on idle resources. So you see the issue, right? This dynamic world of cloud costs needs a dynamic strategy. Now let's talk about the single biggest lever you can pull as an architect to get those costs under control. And here's the secret. The goal isn't just about using fewer resources. It's about paying less for the resources you know you're going to use. Instead of just paying that standard, on-demand price for everything, you can get smart, commit to your usage, and unlock some seriously big savings. And this is the name of the game, commitment-based pricing. It's really just a straightforward deal. You're basically telling AWS, hey, I know for a fact I'm going to be using about this much compute for the next year or 3. And in return for that commitment, they give you a much, much better price. Okay, for the exam, you've got to know these 3 options cold. You have spot instances, amazing for things that can be interrupted, giving you massive discounts on spare capacity. Then you have reserved instances, or RIs. They're good for when you have a super predictable workload, like a specific database server that's always on. But honestly, the real star of the show these days are savings plans. They are just incredibly flexible. The discount automatically applies across different instance types, regions, and even other services like Fargate and Lambda. That flexibility is a game changer and a key point to remember. All right, so let's zoom out for a second. Using these tools isn't just a random trick you pull out of your hat. It's actually part of a much bigger, more formal strategy that AWS recommends. AWS calls this whole discipline Cloud Financial Management, or CFM. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's about building a real practice inside your organization for managing and optimizing your cloud spend. And this whole idea is baked right into the AWS well-architected framework, which, as you know, is the Bible for the certification exam. Now, what I love about this is how they break it down into these 4 pillars. You've got C, for getting visibility into your costs, plan for forecasting, and run for operations. But look at that second one, save. That's our pillar. That is exactly where things like savings plans and RIs live. They're a core part of the official framework. But here's the thing. You can have all the right tools. You can buy all the savings plans you want. But if you really want to nail cost optimization, it's got to be about more than just technology. It requires a real cultural shift. This quote from the framework says it all. Cost optimization is a team sport, plain and simple. The old days where the tech team just runs wild and then throws a giant bill over the wall to the finance department, yeah, those days are over. In the cloud, tech and finance have to be talking constantly. And this visual just nails it, doesn't it? The old way was a straight line, silos. The new cloud model is a loop. It's a continuous collaborative cycle between technology and finance to deploy, operate, and then constantly optimize. And as the architect, you're right in the middle of that conversation, making it all happen. Okay, so this brings us to probably the most important point of all. This whole effort, it's not actually just about making the AWS bill smaller. It's about something much bigger. This right here is the mindset that separates a good architect from a great one. You're not just a cost cutter, you're a value creator. Your real job is to figure out the business output, how many customers you served, how many reports you generated, and weigh that against what it costs to deliver it. And how do you do that? You use KPIs, key performance indicators. You'll definitely want to be familiar with this idea. Now look at that third one down, EC2 usage coverage percent. This KPI is golden. It tells you at a glance exactly how much of your compute spending is being done efficiently through a commitment like a savings plan. Tracking this tells you if your strategies actually work. And that's really the question that should be running through your head with every single design choice you make. A great solutions architect knows the end goal isn't just a lower number on a bill. It's about building a more efficient, a more powerful, and a more valuable system for the business. So you have to ask yourself, are you just cutting costs, or are you actually creating value?